What is up, people? My name is Stahv, and you're in my living room. Today, I've got Lil Gutt,
Yes,
or Lil
sir.
Gutt in the building, as you
We're
may
really
know
out here.
him. He pulled through today. This has been on the works for a little bit. He came out for my episode with Monte. Shout out Monte if you're watching this. But we got him back in the building. Please introduce yourself, sir.
We got Lil Gutt in the cut. We out here doing this interview today. We've been trying to set this up for a little while, but he's a busy man and I'm a busy man. But I'm just happy we're making this happen today.
We're both out here making things happen. But for my audience or people who may not know who you are or what do you do, what is it that you do?
I'm an artist manager and a promoter. I've been hosting shows since 2016, back when I was in high school. I'm 23 now. And I manage artists. My company is Big Shark Entertainment, but I have 6 artists under that, and then producers, everything else you can think of. And I also manage artists outside of it, like a little side projects, because I don't want everyone under one group. You know, some people have different vibes in music, so some don't intertwine as well. And yeah, man, just setting up shows and managing artists and just pushing, and just trying to make this, so everyone can eat and everyone can be rich and everyone can be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Happiness is everything.
When did you get introduced to the scene? Has it always been something you've been super passionate about, or how did it come about?
Well, I started listening to, because I only really listen to rap music, which I know sounds a little uncultured. I don't listen to nothing else, but it's really all I'm into.
Sure.
When I was in 4th grade, my cousin came over my house when I was living in Iowa. That's where I'm really from. And he came over and he gave me 3 CDs. It was a Lil Wayne, an Eminem, and a Ludacris CD.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to all 3 of them, and I gave him back the Eminem one because I wasn't feeling it.
Really?
Which I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was Lil Wayne, Carter 3. And it was something about that. I just kept listening over and over and over and over again. And then Lil Wayne turned out to be, and still to this day, is now my favorite rapper. He's like my favorite human being.
Damn.
Like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this because I just wanted to be like him. And throughout middle school, high school, my whole life, I either wanted to play in the NFL or be a rapper. That was kind of thing I wanted to do. And, I learned that there was other people around me that was just my friends who were more talented than me in the music thing. And so I just learned and studied it because I was so passionate to like the business side of it. And I'm like, okay, well, y'all are my friends and y'all make good music, but that's cool. But like, let's make it a business. Let's make it so we can do something for real.
Yeah, it's one thing to have that sort of mindset and to want to follow something like rap or football. But then to sort of realize going through it that you have people surrounding you that could be better at what it is you wanted to be, but you offered a different kind of skill set that kind of amplified those creatives.
And the thing was it started out as, there was no artist management. It was just hosting parties. That's what it really was at first. It was like hosting parties. And then it turned to parties with, DJing. I would DJ or I have one of my friends DJ. Then it was like, okay, well, I know some artists. We'll have like artists to perform. Then it was like, okay, well, I'll start hosting shows. And then one of my friends just, was making music. This is before Monte even, who's like my longest tenure artist now. There's one artist before him because Monte was my second artist I ever managed. And we don't do business together anymore. We're so cool, just different paths. He don't make music no more.
Sure.
And he came over my house and he would just had a laptop, just scroll from music, song after song, like hundreds. So I'm like, you gonna do something with this, or you just gonna keep making them? And they were hot songs. Like, it wasn't like they were trash, because I would have just told him they're trash, And he was like, God, you know so much about this music business. You know how to do this. Like, why don't we do something? You already host shows. I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I just like hosting shows. And then I was like, all right, I'll just have him. It was just him. And then, next thing you know, it was another artist. And it was just, okay, I'm just going to do Green Bay shows just a little every now and then. The next thing you know, I'm the top Wisconsin, all the way to the bottom Wisconsin, doing whole tours, and then going out of state.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last time we talked, you were very passionate about not just Green Bay, but the whole surrounding area. I mean, all of Wisconsin practically. It seems like you're bouncing around to a different city in Wisconsin just about every night. Tonight, you said you were going down to Oshkosh, but
Yep.
I mean, where does that hustle come from? Like, why are you choosing to kind of branch out beyond just what's here?
Well, like it's cool doing shows in Green Bay and being around my people. Like I love it. It's nothing against it, but you perform 3, 4, 5, 20 times, and they're different people. The show is not like the same people, but after a while, you're kind of like, okay, well, like this is cool, but like this is rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So when I made Big Shark Entertainment, which is the company I was talking about, I have artists in Green Bay. They're part of it. I have artists in Appleton. I have artists in Oshkosh. I have artists in Milwaukee. And the thought process is I'm going to find the best, most unique artists, not artists that necessarily is the most popular, but can actually has skill and can actually bring some farther than if I put them in front of different crowds and gain more fans. So I'll have my Milwaukee art jump on a Green Bay show, now my Green Bay art jump on a Milwaukee show. And basically, this is a weird term, but I called it robbing fans. So basically, we would go back and forth like, oh, Monte just took all Nexus fans in Milwaukee. Now Nexus took all Monte's fans in Green Bay.
Got it.
And then it was like, okay, now they're not just friends. Because a lot of people do shows and it's not fans, it's friends. Now it's fans. I'll go to a place in Oshkosh or Milwaukee. I won't know 95% of the people in the crowd. I don't even know them, but they know me and my artists.
Yeah, whereas Green Bay, it can be kind of a small hometown vibe when you know everybody.
Right.
There's not much room for growth beyond a certain point. So branching out outside of those cities is incredibly smart. I don't think a lot of artists in the city really take advantage of that.
Well, that's the thing. And, there comes a point of music, if you do it for fun, which is nothing wrong with that. If you just want to make a track post on SoundCloud and turn out, people go crazy. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to make a business. I want to make it like something where, I want to see Blackheart Monte, Lil Nexus, Young Sage, La Da Da, those are my artists. I want to see them XXL magazine. I want to see them. I don't want to compare Monte to another artist in Green Bay or wherever. I want to be like, oh, Blackheart Monte, oh, I wonder how his sales look compared to Trippie Redd. Or whoever else you want to name. I'm just naming up artists.
Yeah.
But, not, oh, he got such and such amount of plays on SoundCloud.
Sure.
We don't even talk about SoundCloud no more like that, but shout out to SoundCloud.
So shout out SoundCloud. I don't think Chance the Rapper did a ton of stuff on SoundCloud back in the day, and that's kind of not too many people on SoundCloud these days.
It's kind of the way you start as an artist. So what you first do is you pick out your name. You go to the studio. It's got to, at that when you first start, it's got to be kind of a trash studio. The engineering can't be good. Yeah, that's how you always have to start. Like
really, even if I mean, I'm sure it's different from musician to musician. I'm sure there are people out there that have kind of started with everything and been able to make everything.
No, they definitely have.
But yeah, when you're talking about a smaller town or a smaller city, you really do have to start from the ground up.
Yeah, and then you got to post on SoundCloud. And then you do some views and you feel good by yourself. And then you do a couple more. Then you look yourself in your mirror. I'm like, okay, so like, do I want to invest money into it? Because you can drop songs to SoundCloud or whatever, but then it's like, okay, am I going to pay to get on a distributor to get on all platforms? Am I going to pay for music videos? Am I going to pay for this, pay for that? And that's where you got to make your decision, I feel like, if you want to do this for real, for fun. Because me, like, I mean, maybe some others do, but like, I'm not paying, $500, $1,000 for a music video, possibly more. Paying for, do all this traveling, do all this stuff, just if I'm not trying to do it as a career.
Sure.
I mean, you can, but like at that point, I have other ways to have fun.
Yeah, you might as well put in the effort while you're doing it. It only makes sense. There are obviously people who see music and possibly music management in a very different light than yourself.
Right.
Do you find yourself clashing with other, musicians? Because a big thing about especially music management, it's a lot of like it's a lot of ego playing, and obviously you're never trying to I guess start any issues with anybody, but it's bound to happen when you know so many people in a small area. There's bound to be some sort of, disagreement, or people aren't seeing visually, where you're trying to take it. Have you run into any of that with your approach?
I think where me personally, I've never really had too many issues with artists because it's kind of hard to have. It's more like my artist or another artist more. I mean, I don't think it ever was an issue because Monte was like my first artist who I really did stuff with, and he was the first for a while. Everyone loved him and loved what I was doing when it first started out, and. But I think most people still love us. Like it's not like I walk around corners and everyone's like, oh, F Gutt, this, that, and the third. But the thing is when we start actually, doing more numbers and start doing shows and start being a little more exclusive, you want to perform this show? No, not really. Be nice about it, but not every opportunity is a great opportunity.
Sure.
I don't like to. I tell my artists all the time, like, don't do every show, don't do every verse. I'm not saying you can't collaborate with others, but like me personally, this is how I look at it. If you want to do a song with my artist, you have to at least be on the same level musically or pulling views, because what's the point then?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of like critiquing. I find a lot of people aren't good at taking critiques. Like it's one of the biggest things as an artist. You have to be able to kind of check yourself and really figure out the reason, again, why you're doing it. Right. And I mean, I'm sure managing artists, you're trying to offer critiquing. You're trying to critique at all times. Do you find people take it personally?
I used to be really nice, and I always would try to find some of the song. At this point in my life now, doing so many years, I'm pretty blunt now. Like if I've told my own artists, I'm like, that ain't it.
Sure.
No, that ain't it. But at the same time, I always listen to the song 5 times before I say anything, because I find myself, even with artists in the industry, that sometimes songs grow on you a little bit. And another thing is me personally, my own personal preference of music is kind of like drill, trap, kind of harder rap. So, and some of my artists don't make
bias there.
Yeah. So a lot of my artists, like Lil Nexus, he makes melodic, Masonic, he sings from some artists. So if that's not my personal preference, I have to look at it from a different view. Like, okay, what's, a female gonna think about? What's, this kind of person gonna think about this. Because just in case, just because I'm not feeling it doesn't mean someone else won't feel it.
Sure. As far as it's a lot of, until you have like a super successful artist under your wings, a lot of people are always going to call you out and say like, okay, where's the proof? Like what's, if you're not pulling the numbers, if you're not pulling the views, like, there's going to be a lot of, doubt shed on people like yourself. I mean, how do you have that breakthrough? Because I mean, people like Cole Bennett, when they were coming up, and this is a connection for me just because it's an easy way to describe it, but nobody really knew Cole. He was doing a ton of work with a ton of different people, and he wasn't really picky on the stuff he was doing. He was just out here
hustling.
Hustling, exactly. Do you find people kind of discredit you often because you don't have any larger artists under your belt yet?
I mean, no, not really, because, I feel like, at first, sure, but like years ago, maybe. But when you're doing shows 2 hours away from you and, you got at least 100 people in your crowd, more than some people will have, 10 minutes away.
Right.
And, when you look at example, some artists have features of, bigger artists, like Monte's posted a song, it was like 2 weeks ago, from an artist named Mark Battles. He's got a song with Lil Wayne and Kevin Gates.
Hell yeah.
I mean, when you look at stuff like that, when you see blue check marks, my artists doing songs with guys with blue check marks and open up for people with check marks and doing actual shows an hour and a half away, and people actually showing up for them that we don't know. I feel like that's where, because I have artists all the time, and I'm not throwing shade. No one asks me to be their managers all the time. I get it every single day. Tons of messages from artists I either know or don't really know. And it's not like I'm not trying to do it. It's just I'm already so busy as it is. At this point, if I really work with too many artists, I'm not even really have time for them. So like they're not even gonna like it anyway.
Right.
If I'm a phone call a couple times a week, if that, barely even seeing them, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. And it's hard to draw those lines too. You don't want to like discredit anybody or offend anybody, but you have to be able to kind of set those limits. Otherwise, you'd be working yourself into the ground.
Yeah, I already do too.
When social media is a huge influencing part of the kind of culture that we're playing in. And you say getting tracks with people with blue check marks. I mean, how much credibility can you put into social media these days when there are so many, fake followers? Like there's the whole thing with Twitter and all of their bot accounts now.
No, right? That's valid.
And all of that stuff. Like, again, do you ever get people questioning like if the views are legit or if the likes are legit? Like, how do you prove or how do you draw lines?
How I look at, I'll just take a one because there's like a couple things in that question.
Sure.
With like plays, I mean, how I look at it is, if I really wanted to sit on my distro kit and like record like the charts of the views, I mean, I could do all that.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be doing a little too much though.
Sure.
But no, I mean, at the end of the day, like if you want to fake something, I mean, not like features. I think that's a whole different. If you sitting out here like stealing verses online and trying to upload them out, you got too much free time. That's doing a little too much now.
Yeah.
And especially you try doing that shit, your song gonna probably get taken down.
100%.
So that'd be. I mean, I know some artists who've done that before. As sad as that sounds, but like fake views, fake. I mean, that's the thing is, obviously, you could do that, but it doesn't really benefit you in the long run.
Right.
Because like this is how I look at it. So like, let's say first of all, some things like that, like Spotify too. If you try like buying views on Spotify is sketch because like your song gonna probably get taken down. The only place you can really buy views like that is like SoundCloud.
Really?
That too.
Interesting. Yeah.
Which I know a lot about that because it's just like, you do research on anything. I mean, if I sit around looking up price of cocaine all day today, I'm going to figure out price what brick goes for.
Right.
If I look, I mean, you can figure out anything if you do it. So like Spotify, that sketch, and they'll blacklist your account, so you ain't going to really be able to see it.
Right.
Like Spotify's serious about that. So
interesting.
Any artist listening to this, don't buy views on Spotify.
Got it.
You will pay the price.
Are you speaking from experience, or you just know from research?
You will pay the price.
Okay.
I've been scammed online for promotions, and I paid the price.
All right.
A whole new Spotify account to be made and all that. So you'll pay the price. So, I mean, that's the thing. I'll speak from real situations.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all labels really do.
Right.
The labels be faking everything too.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's favorite rapper is faked to an extent.
It's a hard game to play because, again, people nowadays hold so much value in a following, and in some cases, faking it until you make it is really a legitimate way of doing it. It can be taken however you want, but if you see somebody on Instagram with a few more thousand views than yourself, you're gonna look at them in a slightly different way.
Well, I always say the blue check mark controls the game. Right now, let's say you can't even buy a blue check mark. There's probably some way you can. I don't even want to say. You probably go on the black market. There'll be some. If you really want something life, you'll find a way to get it. But let's say right now I start being a rapper tomorrow, and if I get 50,000 followers and a blue check mark, I don't even think they'll care what I'm talking about. They'll take me serious now.
Right.
Versus if we have you got 10,000 followers and they're all real and you're just rapping, like your bars are perfect, like this song's hot. They still gonna take me more serious. I could be talking about nothing just because I have the blue check.
Yeah.
The blue check controls the game.
Yeah.
And another thing about like buying likes or followers or plays or whatever. Okay, let's say I get 10,000 plays on SoundCloud on one song. Okay, when I drop the next one, I'm going to have to get some around there or it's just going to look sketch.
Right.
Oh, I got 10,000 on this. The next song has 17 plays. Damn, you went from 10,000 to 17? So I know artists, and like no shade at him, it's whatever. I'm not trying to sneak this on people. That's not the gut way. But he had it was like 185,000 on a song, which that's like dummy numbers now. We talking, which is, it's possible. I'm not saying no one can't do that. And then the next song had 42 plays.
Right.
It's like, okay, dog, like,
yeah,
that's not possible.
Right.
Like you got to at least pull like at least 2K the next, at least. And that's the thing, bro. Like I don't really, honestly, me personally, I could care less. You could, if an artist walked in the room right now was buying views, buying likes, I could care less. Do you, man? Because like I would rather someone say that than say they don't try nothing. At least you're trying to do something. Not the way I would do it.
Yeah.
But at least you're trying, I guess.
It's definitely a different way of looking at things. Like again, like I said, you can literally in this day and age fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of artists out there that have done exactly that.
Oh yeah, bro. You literally look up the term industry plant. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's artists that are industry plants, and I've looked into stories because I'm
Curious,
like, oh, I'm
yeah.
interested. I'm like, oh, is this a actual legitimate way? I'm not gonna lie, like I look in every aspect to get arts, but I'm looking at this. I'm like, the artists that are industry plants, like they're not that well known, and they're not, in my opinion, popping, and it's so obvious that they're faking. I'm like, okay, what's the point of this? And so it's not it's not the gut wave.
Yeah, I love it. Going back to kind of your background, you said you weren't originally from Green Bay.
No,
How did you end up here?
So I moved here in 2013. It would have been my freshman year of high school, and my family is huge Packer fans, and my dad always was like, "Oh, I want to move to Green Bay to live by the Packer Stadium."
Hell yeah!
And it was just like, I mean, you can see the tattoo right here. I'm a huge football guy, and actually, football is my favorite thing in the world. It's the only thing I like more than music.
Really?
That's like my number one.
Yeah.
If I had my way, I'd be in the NFL right now.
Interesting.
I would love to be, but I love what I'm doing now. It's just, I don't know.
There's always that dream.
Yeah, I mean, both dreams. I like what I'm doing, so I can't complain for a second. But no, he always like, oh, I want to move to Green Bay, live by the stadium, whatever. I didn't take it seriously, and then next thing you know, my 8th grade year's over, and yeah, we're actually doing it. I'm like, oh, which I was kind of like upset. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right.
Yeah, that's a pretty, important part of your life. You have friends, and
Yep.
you're used to your routine. You're used to the same place, same faces, and then to get picked up and dropped somewhere completely different. I mean, what was that like?
It was at first, I was like, oh, okay, well, I have no friends now. All right, well, I'm down bad. But then I started playing football because, well, not start. I was playing football, and I played football there. Once you're around, a team, you have teammates, and you're kind of with them every day. It's kind of easy to make friends.
Yeah.
Then it went from there to, I'm a sociable person. Next thing you know, it was cool. About a year later, I was good.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a new home, and since then I've been good. So,
do you see yourself staying in the area, or are you trying to branch out to completely different places?
I could see myself here. I could see myself in Hawaii. I could see myself anywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever my business takes me, and I like where I live. I can't complain. I know a lot of people around here are like, oh, Green Bay, whatever it is. But like, compared to where I'm from, this is like heaven on earth. So.
Really?
I'll take this every single day.
Yeah.
Because the town I lived in was trash. All it was a bunch of crackheads. Like, legit crackheads.
Yeah. Did that affect?
No, I mean, it's just like,
growing up.
you go one side of the town, it's just like, white suburban families, you walk your dog down the road or you jog or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
suburban. Then you go to the other half of the town and, it's people on gas stations like off rocks. Like that's not the wave. And it was just like my school was just bad. Like there were bomb threats in middle school. I had to go through metal detectors every day.
Damn.
Like it was like it sounds like I'm a movie, but like literally like it was so trash. Like we'd have to wait out on a line outside in the cold. And, me, I was dumb. I'd wear shorts, like basketball, NBA shorts, wait in the cold to get checked for bombs for like 3 months straight.
How big was your school? It must have been somewhat large.
My whole schooling was weird. I went to 3 different middle schools, but it was the same kids because one of our schools got condemned. Then the next one, we were there for 1 year.
Wow.
Then we had our high school, and I was 8th grade, and they didn't finish building our middle school. So we had to go to school in FEMA trailers, like FEMA.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, bro, I can't complain.
That's such an unusual.
Yeah.
It's hard seeing that perspective.
Just imagine, okay, you going from a high school and you have like a grass field. You just see a big trailers planted.
Right.
And you have like a wooden plank. You walk up these planks. I mean, they were good support planks. Not like I was walking. You know what I mean? I'm not like I'm walking. You know what I mean? But I'm walking in and like to a trailer to go to school.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like my school small. Like there was a lot of kids in these trailers.
And for
full
any
classrooms.
kid of that age, you could probably tell like something was not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but like I got used to it, so
Oh,
it
I'm
didn't
sure.
affect me at all. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, oh. But the worst part was like, so when we had to go to lunch, we had
Yeah.
to walk from the trailers to the high school. But it was like kind of a far walk, and they went, let's go through the main doors. So we like walk all the way around damn near the block, go through these other doors. So it'll be like 10 degrees. Because I was the same as here, like weather-wise. There's no difference. There's a little more.
Winters are pretty harsh.
Yeah, and only difference in Iowa is like humidity is a little more fierce. But other than that, so I'd be walking just this long walk in the cold just to walk in for lunch.
And then walk back.
Yeah, it was the trashiest walk ever. And it was just like, I remember we'd be walking back and there'd just be like, you walk off and then like by the trailers be kids just fighting. Like there'd be fights every single day after school, during school.
Man.
It was just like, but then, when I say, oh, I'm from Iowa. Oh, farms? No.
Yeah.
Like, I hate, it was the most irritating thing. I'm like, no.
Completely stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
yeah, that's complete. I never would have thought that.
Yeah, that's all I hear. I'm like, oh, so you're a farm? No.
Yeah.
No, I was not. I think there's more people of that nature kind of around here than where I was, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I was from Pulaski, man.
Oh, yeah,
out in the cornfields.
Yeah, you know about Pulaski.
Yeah.
I don't got, you know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm happy I moved here for that reason. Obviously, at the time, you're like, oh, my friends, my this, my that. But like my grades, middle school went up a lot from high school. I mean, I was getting like D's, C's, if that. Trash grades. I go to my high school, I'm getting good grades, everything good, stay out of trouble for the most part. I feel like if I was still there, like I don't even know what I'd be doing right now.
Oh, I'm sure it kind of in a way probably made you a lot more receptive to the world around you.
Right. Like when I was in school, like there'd be days like I just want to fight someone. For like no reason. Like I just woke up like wanting to fight someone today.
Well, when you're in a situation like that where you're surrounded by that kind of stuff every day, I mean, it's only a matter of time before it starts to become a part of you too.
Yeah, like I remember when I came up here, like I was like, oh, this is a lot nice. This is nice out here. I like this.
I'm sure it was way different. Moving on to sort of your up and coming stuff. I know you have a lot underway.
Too much.
And a few exciting things you were talking about on our way up here
Yup.
just today. So if you want to dive into that, I'd be more than happy.
Some of these things no one knows about, so this will be like, the leak of it,
Hell yeah.
right here today.
Let's do it.
So I'm flying out at A&R that works with Sony, and he's also doing a little branch of his own label, which will be cool. In July, I'm having like a little, I won't call it a show because it's a private event. There won't be people really loud there, just the artist A&R and some of my people that'll be working the event. And it's really dope because, you don't really see opportunity like that around here.
Definitely not.
Someone who could literally go, I want to change your life today. And, I really, I'm proud of myself, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to brag myself, but I'm proud that I'm able to do that because it's something I definitely always wanted to do. But
how did it come about?
My friend Hayden Lamers, I don't know if you know him.
He was a next door neighbor of mine, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did live around here.
Yeah, yep.
I knew that. I don't know why.
I never got to connect with him in person. He moved out recently, but if you're watching this, man, we should.
Oh, he'll watch it.
Yeah, we should definitely connect sometime.
Yeah, it's a long story how he knew it, but basically he's the one who found him and me and him. And, to be honest, I was a little skeptical at first because, when someone tells you, oh, they know this A&R, and I'm like, oh. Okay,
yeah, are you all talk or?
Right. Not even like that necessarily. It's just like more skeptical of the guy, not even him necessarily.
Sure.
I even jumped on a phone call with him. I'm kind of like talking, and like I'm like driving. I'm like kind of whatever. I looked the dude up, and I saw his credit list. I'm like, damn, I'm tripping. I should have been more like engaging, and it went from that to obviously now. I'm bringing him out for the show, flying him out, the whole nine. And, it's really cool because, there's a lot of artists who got talent around here, not just around here and all the surrounding area in Wisconsin who, they drop some hot music, even do decent views too. Like, it's not even like, and good visuals, everything.
Yeah.
And then after that, they go back home. And it's like, that was it. And I feel like it's not their fault necessarily. It's just they you know.
They don't have the right eyes on their
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
and that doesn't even because of Green Bay. You can live in Atlanta.
Mm.
You know, everyone's like, "Oh, move to Atlanta, California." You know how many people are doing that?
Yeah.
You know, you know how many times I heard, "Oh, I'll move to LA." Okay, you and how many other people move to LA? It don't matter how many people are out there. There's still only so many people they can see. It's all about using social media and pushing your stuff, you know. And I always was like trying to push my stuff to labels or A&Rs, and you know, I don't even necessarily want my artist signed to a label necessarily. If it makes sense, it makes sense. I'm not, you know, like begging on the corner for it.
Yeah. What? I mean, say everything goes to plan. What could this do for some of the artists in Green Bay?
So when we talked, I never mentioned nothing about signing artist distribution deals. I never mentioned that because I just wasn't going to mention it. I was going to see what I say. All I says, hey, would you mind coming out for the show? You know, I want to do a little showcase, kind of show you some talent. And I sent them some footage of my Rap Royale show I had recently, which was another competition show I had, and it went really, really good. You know, over 300 people there in Oshkosh, and you know, it went really, really well. Like, you know, very happy about it.
Oh yeah.
And after I talked to him, that he brought himself that, hey, if there's an artist or two that I like, you know, I'm willing to sign him to a distribution or a full-on deal if it all makes sense and I like everything I'm seeing. That made me happy that he brought that up, not me. Because if I brought that up, he might be like, oh, okay, yeah.
There's some motives there.
Right.
Yeah.
He brought it up. And then also, so the event's on the Saturday, July 30th. The next day on a Sunday, he's going to have a valuation sit down of each artist that's doing the show and actually sit down with them and, you know, talk to them about how they did, what they think of them, and kind of, because, you know, you're not just going to say, oh, I'm going to give this artist this or that over a little performance and some of their music. They're going to want to talk to them and really, how old are you? You know, how many songs you have out? Let me hear your other stuff.
Sure.
Stuff like that, because, you know, at least I'm assuming now, unless he just hears some songs like, that's it.
Right.
This is the one. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
I'm sure it's case by case. You don't really know the outcome until
Right.
you actually make it happen. How are you are you hand selecting the artists
So,
that
basically, before I drop the event
Mm-hmm.
and go public with it, there's gonna be some artists that I reach out to that I know, but I don't want to make it just, you know, artists that I know. I do want to make it that there's some people I don't know have a chance to jump on this because I don't want to be like stingy about it.
gatekeeping or
Yeah,
any of that?
that's a good term too. But there's gonna be a good amount. I'm probably gonna have 25 or 30 artists on it.
Oh wow.
And I was gonna, you know, have more, but it's not a show, so I don't have to worry about like, you know, set times.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
it's gonna be there, and you know, it's gonna work.
more
out
of
well.
a networking opportunity.
Yep, that's what I've been calling it, a
else.
networking event, more or less. And that's the best thing about it is, okay, let's say 30 artists on 30 perform. Let's say he wants one. Let's say he wants none. He's like, nah, I'm not feeling no one here. At the end of the day, the artist still got a chance to talk to other artists. You know, I'm gonna have some of my producers there, my cameramen there, other people. So it's a chance for everyone to talk. You know, oh, hey, let's get this song in. Oh, you shoot music videos. It's a chance for people. At the end of the day, you're gaining something. When you walk out that door, you're gonna gain something.
It's experience, if anything else.
That too. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, honestly, a pretty like selfless thing to do to be able to put something together like that and to recognize like, hey, I'm not trying to. I mean, you're limiting it, but you're not like, you know, you're leaving some room to play there because you're aware that, you know, there are other things out there. It's a cool thing.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it's corny if I did an event through just my artist on it, put an A&R and said, hey, look at my artist. That don't even sound right.
Sure.
I don't like that. I would rather have, I mean, like, honestly, I would throw more artists on it. I'd throw 100, 300 on there. But the thing is, that man going to walk out the building if I had to throw that much at him.
Yeah.
Like,
is it something you hope to repeat if it goes well?
If it goes well, yes. And going well doesn't necessarily mean someone gets a deal or someone gains something from him. Just long as everything goes like how I want it to go and just smooth and everyone has a chance to do something with it.
We're back. The cameras are acting up. We got some bad luck in the building. I'm not sure what's going on today, but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. Do you have anything? I mean, besides the Sony thing, it's huge. I mean, for to have local artists get that opportunity to be seen on a level like that is obviously a big thing. Are you working on any other projects?
Yeah, there's another artist who's a industry artist. I don't want to say like A-list, but a good name artist. I'm really working on getting it done. I don't want to say it only just because if it doesn't happen, then I'm a cap artist. I can't be going out like that on your podcast.
Sure.
But when that happens, we can come back to this moment back. Oh, this is who he's talking about.
Got it.
I always have a bunch of other shows. Just working on all my artists in general. I mean, my artists are always doing something. If it's not, they're always getting posted on some kind of channel.
I was gonna say it's a lot of like behind the scenes work, right? You
Yeah.
don't always get a lot of credit because I'm sure a lot of your work goes unnoticed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's setting up this music shoot, video shoot, or like my artists get on a lot, like been on Adam 22 a couple times and a couple other places like that, which is really dope. Just setting that up, or just networking with different promoters other than myself in other areas, that I necessarily don't hit a lot, or just any kind of promotions. Obviously, I put a lot of money, like Google ads, YouTube's ads, all that. A lot of stuff like that. Just try to build it up. And I'm also working with my athlete Dez. I got a lot going with him too. So, a
lot of different avenues.
Yeah, my Big Shark Entertainment. I want to make it into either a label that can compete with other labels out there, or if not, get my artists onto maybe another label, and I want to make it where I'm managing artists and athletes at the same time, so I have two different spectrums and two different ways to,
well, it's just another creative outlet, I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of, because I know you said, if you had it your way, you'd be playing in the NFL or you'd be on stage rapping. Do you still find a lot of joy in doing what you do?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I kind of like live through them, if that makes sense. So when I'm turning my artists, on stage, I'm with them, turn up, and I'm not one of them that sit in the back room and sit there. And I'm turning up with them. I can't just sit there.
Right.
And like when I see Dez catch a touchdown, or if I see Monte perform in front of hundreds of people, like
when they win, you win.
Yep, that's the type of thing. And it feels good also when I know if it's a show I'm hosting or I set up, or if I have some kind of way I'm the one who made it happen. Then obviously I feel good, like, okay, I'm doing a good job.
Sure.
Because obviously you want to feel like you're doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to measure that kind of stuff too. Especially, it's interesting because I talk to a lot of creative people and a lot of artists, but in a way, the sort of artist management and just managing on its own is its own sort of art form that is super hard to kind of like quantify,
I like that word.
It's an interesting subject because, again, people really don't know the extent of what it is you do until, you're actually working with them.
Yeah, and, not to take credit or say this, but a lot of artists that I managed when they came to me, they didn't have as much as they have now. Not saying they came to me, like bumming off the street with nothing. Not like I sat there and, wrote their songs and made them. I'm not saying that at all, but I've done a lot for them and they've done a lot for me, and it's a good, 50-50 hand-in-hand partnership. And it like I said, it feels really good when you see streams going up, followers going up, but not even just that, just the show's doing good, and just like it's nice when you go out to a mall or you go out somewhere and people know who you're talking about. Like, oh, that's Young Sage, that's Blackheart Monte, that's Size 6 times, or whoever you want to say. Or, when I like on shows because, they actually know the lyrics.
Yeah.
I think that's where I really actually, for real, sat down myself and said, okay, I need to really keep doing this. This isn't even just for fun anymore. When I did a show in Milwaukee and people knew Monte's lyrics.
Yeah. That's
like singing the songs to us. I was like, okay, I don't know a single person's cry. I don't know one person out there.
There's your proof, though, that what it is you're doing is working.
Yeah.
Because, it's one thing, again, like you were saying before, to have your friends show up and support you at your show, and they would generally probably know all of your lyrics, but to go to a completely different city where you don't really know how they're going to respond.
Oh, I was
and then
so
to
nervous.
have something like that happen, I mean, that's got to be like a whole different high.
Well, the nervous part about it was I was the host of the show.
Okay.
I'm driving to Milwaukee. It was at this venue called Muse 33. I never was at the venue before. I checked it out. Well, I checked out one time, like a month and a half before I set up the show. Just, I wanted to make sure it was straight first. I set it up, and I sold all the tickets. I had my artists. Literally, I was selling them over name on the list. So when I do my shows, I do it differently. I rent the venue. I bring my own security. I do everything myself. I don't do anything. I do everything. So I had people to pay for the tickets, Cash App or Venmo me, and I put their name on a list. So I'm having people I don't know in Milwaukee sending $10. It was $10 a door, Cash App. I'm home. Obviously I know how many people are going just because I see how many
Tickets are being
Yeah.
sold, sure.
But sometimes like it was complicated too because they'd be like $40 from whoever, and then I'd have to like comment on it on Venmo because they have a comment section, put names in description because there'd just be 4 tickets.
Yeah.
And, I don't know a single person in this crowd. And, we're rocking a place 2 hours away from my artists. And they're singing, one Monty songs, Blackberry Faggo, we do this every day, though, And all these people are singing it, guys and girls. I don't know a single one. I'm like, okay. That's why I was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah, that's got to be just, yeah.
And I have video proof. Like, you go on Snapchat stories, you'll see Milwaukee location. You'll see these people singing it.
Yeah, I got to see that.
And
man.
that stuff like that is like, you can't make that up. There's no.
You can't fake that.
Yeah, I can't. That's where it really comes down to with faking stuff is when you do a show. That's where you really see what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
And who's really doing stuff and who's
That's
really
fair.
not. Like, that's the thing about Monte's music, and I'm not trying to just talk about Monte and I'm an artist. It's just I've been with him the longest, so he's the easier one to keep talking about. I mean, I could talk about Nexus, Sia, Sage, everyone else I got, Cully, everyone else. But the thing about him is his number one stream city isn't even in Wisconsin. His number one city is Brooklyn, New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, you can't even. It's hard to just see numbers over a screen.
Yeah.
And to try to visualize like what those numbers are actually meaning, But when you go to a show and you have those experiences, like that's all you need.
Or like when I had Lil Nexus Mars from Milwaukee come up to Green Bay. I had him headline show in Green Bay. It was at Club 920 when you remember that when they had that. And I was a little, like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Like, it's Club 920. This is kind of the heart of it, when, like, it was really good. And there was people knowing his songs in Green Bay from Milwaukee, and I was like, okay, so this is my plan of attack was I want to bring my Milwaukee artists to Green Bay, my Green Bay artists to Milwaukee.
And that's
Oshkosh,
when you
Alton.
started really branching out?
Yeah.
Or were you kind of branching out
I was starting to branch
before?
out. That's when I really started doing it. So, like, because like I said, I have 3 artists in Green Bay I manage under Big Shark Entertainment. I have 1 in Appleton, 1 in Oshkosh, 1 in Milwaukee. So
and then you can kind of cross.
Yep. That's why, like,
cross
I have a show in Oshkosh tonight,
Got it.
And then we have shows coming to Green Bay. We'll be in Milwaukee soon. Appleton. We have a show in Appleton coming up soon, too. I just can't remember the date. But that's the thing is, and when we've been to other areas just in that week, we've had shows in Madison, too. It's just those shows, it's a little harder just because now, like, we don't have an artist in that territory, I always say. But, I mean, we've had a show in Madison, and we had a decent amount of people come out for that, too.
I'm sure it kind of helps having somebody who's actually from the area that can kind of say, hey, these are the places that are normally doing well that I might be able to perform at. Whereas if you're pulling from a city that you don't really have people in, it's like, how do you even line something like that up?
Yeah, and it worked, actually, which I was happy. I mean, it wasn't, like, my best show I've ever had, but I've had show in Madison that's worked out.
Yeah.
We've had shows in different areas that's worked out. So, I mean, that's the best part. It's like, and, I like putting I don't just put my artists on shows. Sometimes, like, when I'll go to different cities, if there's other artists I just like that I'm cool with, or there's other people in the area I want to network with, I'll be like, oh, just come out. You come out and perform with us, too.
That's a beautiful thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about your Instagram because you've been able to meet personally some pretty insane people.
What's crazy is I have so many other pictures. I say this all the time. I need to post. I haven't. Sometime this next month, I'm just going to post a bunch of pictures of other celebrities I met, even if they're old pictures, because I look a lot different than some of these pictures now. Just post them all. But yeah, no, I get that.
If you haven't checked out his Instagram, I mean, you should check it out. Just because it is, I mean, how does that even come about?
So I mean, like some of the early pictures and some that are not even on my Instagram, like earlier on the Facebook. I mean, there was some that was like at a concert. I met them.
Yeah, you're just going to shows,
right,
and
but there are some of those pictures where it started out when I started doing this. Is FBG Duck is one of the artists I knew. He passed away, and you might not know he's a drill Chicago rapper who really big in that scene. I actually knew him personally. That was probably the only industry rapper I can say like knows me. I know him. He followed me on Instagram. I know his mom. I know other artists that worked with him. Like I know the whole family. And he was kind of the reason why I started managing artists because I went to some of his shows and I kicked him. I got to know him personally. He actually came to Green Bay, had some shows too, and I was part of that, all that. And he was kind of the one who put me onto the managing. He kind of, showed me some things and showed me what some of his managers and other people do. And he kind of plugged me into a lot of these people because like when you know someone like that personally, they
sure,
kind of
it helps a lot. Yeah.
They kind of open the doors to meet most of these people for me.
Oh, absolutely.
And like like I get questions like this all the time. Oh, do you know 6ix9ine? I have a picture of him personally, or do you know R.I.P. Young Dolph personally? No, I do not know them personally.
Right.
Like I met them, they took a picture of me, but if you go up to 6ix9ine and interview, oh, do you know Lil Gutt? It'd be like, who?
Yeah. But it shows that you're beyond just enjoying music. I mean, you are truly like a fan and all consumed by the rap culture and the artists that you enjoy. I mean, it there's obviously a clear passion there that you get enjoyment beyond just the managing.
And it's cool too being able to like through connections I made, being able to like pull up the shows and just kick back and like meet and network all these, because a lot of times I'll take the picture of the artist and talk to them, but really most of the time I'm trying to talk to their manager.
Okay.
More than that, or DJ. Managers and DJs are two people, because they're the ones that can actually make something happen. At the end of the day, like I go up to them like, oh, how much is this person charging for a show? I kind of want to try to get something in, or how much is a verse from this person, or hey, let's swap contacts. A lot of these managers will manage other artists that are not as big as the one. I'll be like, hey, I manage these artists. These are the territories I'm doing well. These territories, like let's figure something out together.
Yeah,
and that's how I got these industry features. Some of my artists is having connections to the big artists and bigger managers and be able to work around it.
Yeah, opening doors. It's all about who you know.
And that's the big thing. I've been blessed to meet a lot of people and blessed to make connections through that. And that's that kind of gave me a leg up and kind of put me ahead of certain other people, because I don't know a lot of managers, period, around this area. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of people I know personally that do anything in the realm that you do, and I have a hard time even thinking
a lot of
a
people who I know who have done it, they kind of quit really early because it's a lot of putting money and investing. Because I invest in my artists. It's not like I just oh, Gut's my manager. Like I invest in them. I help them. I push them any way I can, any way I can do it. So, it's kind of a type of thing where you have to be happy seeing other people winning, and you can't think about yourself. Like you gotta think about them too. And that as soon as you get in that mind space that every time your artist wins or every time someone on your team wins, not just artists, my producers, my graphic designers, my videographers, my everything, they take a W, you gotta be like, okay, well, look at if you had something to do with that W, if there's any way you
contributed.
Then you gotta be like, okay, well, I'm doing good, so it's a W too. Now, obviously, it's just a good feeling. If you genuinely like someone, then I always say this: if your friend ever gets money, and that bothers you, you got some problems.
Right.
Because I hope all my friends become millionaires tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You want to see the people you love and create with and do art with, like, or just friends succeed. And I think,
well, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like,
why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I feel like people want to see people on the same level they are, because trust me, honestly, I know a lot of people are like, oh, this person don't like me. As far as I know, most people love me. I've never had a lot of people not like me, but there's definitely some people who were closer to me or talked to me more before I did a lot of the stuff I've been doing years and years back. And I think it just makes people uncomfortable sometimes seeing people that were on the same level as them kind of leveling up in life, and not always that person is doing the same. And it's just, I don't know, I just kind of what human beings do.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I'm not going to say I've never done something like that in my life. Like, obviously I've been jealous of someone or jealous of something. But I think that's kind of a past thing. I don't think I really do
Yeah,
anymore.
as long as you learn from the experience and you're
Right.
not holding that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you drive in some car from the 90s that can barely move and rusted out, and you see some dude pull up in a Lambo,
Yeah.
you might feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But, like, should you really?
Yeah.
I
Right.
feel like, if anything, that should be motivation. Like, all right, I'm going to get that too.
True. So I love doing this thing on the podcast where I ask some sort of, or get some perspective as to things that you do beyond the things we've already talked about that people wouldn't necessarily pin you down for or know that you do. Like when I had YD
beyond the
on,
business. All right.
yeah, beyond the business. Like when I had YD on, he talked about, I use this example every time. He talked about gardening and hostas. And it's just like so out there that
is
you
out
would
there.
never expect for that to be something he enjoyed, but it was just a cool insight as to a different aspect of his life. Is there anything like that in your life for you that's beyond the NFL, beyond music? Like, is there something out there?
I love clothes.
Clothes, fashion.
Like, love clothes. I have 3 closets full of clothes.
Really?
I own over, just jerseys, I own over 300 jerseys.
You were talking about the jersey
Yeah.
thing before, how you always wear jerseys.
Yeah, but just clothes in general. I got to calm down with it because, I feel like every time I get money, the first thing I'm doing is, either online or at a store, looking for clothes.
What kind of clothes? Like, what's your...
It used to be, I'd say 2 years ago, I was, big into, designer brands, stuff I'm wearing right now. I'm only wearing this.
Yeah, Supreme. Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm only wearing it, though, because it's the interview. Because I got to look. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But, no, it doesn't even have to be something special now. It's just something that catches my eye.
Yeah.
I like neon colors. My favorite color is pink.
Okay.
So I have a lot of pink shirts, pink shoes, pink.
Hell yeah.
So, clothes. I mean, music, clothes, football. That's my main things. Honestly, there's not much. I play Madden, but that's still football. So I feel like that's mainly it. There's not too many other things I really do. I would probably do other things maybe if I had more time. I like gambling, but that's not a good habit.
It could be. There's some people that can make some pretty good money off of gambling.
Yeah.
Like the poker players, bro, they make bank.
Yeah, I like roulette.
Roulette.
But
Oh, okay.
I get too into it sometimes. I'll be like, put everything on red. Damn it. You know what I'm saying?
Everything's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm down bad thinking,
Sure,
oh man.
sure. And you could have bought 5 pairs of
Yeah, you feel me?
shoes. Yeah.
Honestly, that's the thing. I don't really buy a lot of shoes. I
Not a
used
shoe
to when I
guy.
was younger. No, I am a shoe guy.
Okay.
But I don't because I ruin them right away.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People always say they're worried about creasing their Jordans or scuffing up their fucking Yeezys. But dude, I love shoes. I have a whole collection, but I wear my shoes. I cannot stand the people that
just
don't wear their shoes.
Yeah, it's not even the scuffing. It's just I don't know. I just have a bad history. Just it's down bad. I wear a lot of white shoes though. That's probably why.
Yeah, yeah. But even then, you gotta have a beater pair of white shoes that you always put on. I don't know, the people that wear shoes to flex and always have to keep them pristine. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I've been there before. I've been everywhere at some point. I don't know. I don't buy too many pairs of shoes. I'm trying to chill on the clothes. I'm really just trying to, build for my future.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Investments.
Yeah, that too. I'm trying to get more into stocks, but
Yeah, that's a whole different lane. I think for a lot of people when the pandemic hit and the market kind of took a pretty steep dive, that's when a lot of people our age kind of jumped in because we're like, well, we got nothing to lose. We might as well try. I know a lot of my friends really started messing around in the stock market, over COVID.
yeah, I'm not too deep into it yet. I like to do a lot of research into every little thing. Obviously, stocks, obviously, it's good to invest. I'm not saying that. Just, right now, it's just a whole nother game.
Well, it's honestly a glorified method of gambling.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
that's literally all it is. You might as well go to the casino and put all your money on red. Because that's exactly what you're doing.
I might put on black, low key.
Oh yeah, it depends on.
Might have to go after this.
It depends on the feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should have done the interview in there.
Yeah, at the
Could
casino.
have been on the table while you interviewed
Yeah,
me.
hell yeah. I'm a big blackjack guy.
Yeah?
Love blackjack. It's has just enough strategy that you can make good money if you're good at it, but there's just enough luck that it can take everything from you.
The only reason why I don't like playing too many card games is because, like, the person you're playing does that for a whole living.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean? When you go to a casino, you got to think about when you're playing another person or playing. You got to think about, like, when you're at a casino,
Yeah.
the person that you're, quote unquote, up against,
Sure.
however you want to word it, does that for a living.
Yeah.
And that my thought process on that always makes me nervous because I'm like, this is your whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like
The
about
casinos are always set up to
the
win.
house wins.
Yeah.
And, like, I get that, and I know that going in, but, like, I still try to strategize so, I can try to sway the odds a little bit,
Yes.
I have a lot of strategies, but I don't want to leak all them. I got to get paid for some of these.
Got it. Well, man, I appreciate the hell out of you for coming out and kind of giving me some more insight into the world that is the management, kind of the stuff we don't get to see a lot.
Behind the scenes.
It's such an interesting world, and just from this interview, we haven't talked too much beyond this, but it does really seem like you're a genuine guy out here trying to make the best of the situation, and to see you being able to do things like the Sony stuff and to take little wins like that and really turn it into something. I mean, it's we need more of that in the city.
Yeah, I mean, day by day, I'm just trying to take W's for me, my team, and anyone else that rocks with me. I mean, you don't got to be my best friend. If you just cool, if you like a picture of mine, I'll like a picture of yours. If you want to send a song of mine, I'll send a song of yours. That's how I look at it. And if you're supporting my brand, I'll support yours. So, and like with the Sony thing example, it don't got to be someone I necessarily know. If you got a good craft, and you got something to show, like I'm more willing to show it to anyone I can. Because even if it's someone that's not necessarily associated with my brand, at the end of the day, if they get something big because of what I put together,
That's a win. Yeah. If the quality's there, yeah, why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm looking at. And, I want to do more things like that, not just at that one, but, I got to get my first one in before I can worry about my fifth one,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how I look at everything.
You got to start somewhere. Anything you want to shout out? Where can people find you?
Look at Lil Gutt on Instagram. In my right in my bio, there's a bunch of my artists. I can't fit them all. I manage in one bio, but a bunch of so just hit their names, follow them all. Shout out to the whole BSC. I don't want to name everyone off because I'm just going to keep going and going and going. Everyone I associate with. But all the artists that are under me, all my graphics, everyone that associated me, the whole gang, anyone that rocks anything I do, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I just appreciate you having me on here. Speak the truth to the people. We need more of that.
Exactly. That's the point of the podcast, is to get a different perspective of all the creatives that are here in the city, but also, I want to do something with this. It's
you going there?
A work in progress.
We getting there every single day.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming out, man, and we'll definitely have you back out after everything goes down, and we'll see where you're at then.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Yeah.